Welcome to today's lesson on levels 3 and 4 geometry. In this lesson we will learn about the nets of solids. The students should be able to recognize and name prisms or solids at this level. They should also be able to describe features of two-dimensional shapes such as squares, rectangles, triangles and circles, and some other two-dimensional shapes. The learning activity I prepared for in this lesson, which I will show you in a little bit, is to construct two-dimensional shapes by using three-dimensional objects. In the Australian curriculum, the students in levels 3 and 4 are expected to identify the properties of shapes. In this task, the students work with nets that represent the two-dimensional faces of three-dimensional objects. So the curriculum's expectation of these levels is to identify and describe prisms by their geometric properties. For example, shapes of faces, number of edges, okay, and vertices using concrete materials. If I can show you what a net looks like here, I have a two-dimensional shape, also called as a net of a prism. I have also cut up this net, which is also a cube or a square prism, and if I fold it, you will see that it forms a three-dimensional shape. Looks like a dice which is also a three-dimensional object. And if we unfold it, you get the net of the object. Also, some misconceptions that students that arises with the students is having gaps in recognizing and naming three-dimensional shapes when they look at the nets of the shapes. And here I've also prepared a rectangular prism nets. So, and again, if you have a look at the nets are prepared for the rectangular prism, they don't have the same net. Like this looks more like a T. So there's this box, but this one sort of has its own shape. So you got, and then yeah. So let's see if we fold them, would it form a three-dimensional shape, or the rectangular prism that we want. And there we go, it does. So here we have a rectangular prism, and also another rectangular prism, and another rectangular prism. And you could do this activity with a grade 3-4 students. Helps them build their visualization, thinking, as well as naming and recognizing, classifying the shapes and their properties, and comparing them as well. And then in the and then you can move them on into finding the surface area of the nets, which would be on another lesson. Tune in.